The Xbox Drive is fueled by patrons at patreon.com/YumiCapri. And I want to thank everybody who supports us over there, especially our Capremium producers like Dallas Ford, Drew Agnew, who I hope you'll subscribe to his podcast, The House of Mario, Jace Baldridge, who you should follow at twitch.tv/Backeridge, Lee Navarro, the fearless leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team, and Jonathan Brown. And I hope you'll subscribe to his YouTube channel, youtube.com/GamingPurpleMonkey. Our platinum producers, Brian Scott and Trucker Sloth, and all of our gold members, Argo, Benji Kong, Brendan Myers, Dallas Robbins, Dano, Emily O'Kelly, Heather Boney, James Johnson, Joel Brooks, Jose Jimenez, Mac Time, Marcus O'Neill, RJ Kern, Skinny Matt, and Xavier Reyes. Thank you, everybody, for all of your support. And if you want to contribute and support the show, go to patreon.com/YumiCapri. Now, on with the show. Hey, everyone, it's me, Sean Capri. I'm in my car, and you're listening to the most horsepowerful podcast on the internet. It's the Xbox Drive. I'm on a Skype call with my friend Ryan Turford, and on our journey today, it snowed last night, and there's actually snow on my windshield again, and I just moved it, but I stopped, and it's in my way, so turn on into the Xbox Drive. Blah, 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 blah.
Greater than X.
Hello, Sean Capri.
Ryan, it's dangerous right now. It's very dangerous territory. I just had a whole bunch of snow drop on my windshield, and I was not expecting this, man. It's May. What is going on? How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. I feel like I have the opposite problem because we're currently in the middle of a heat wave here in London.
What?
Where it's like almost 40 degrees outside, Sean. It's
you
ridiculous.
Gotta be kidding me. It's 40 degrees.
It's close to it.
I'm actually, like, you can see, I'm outside. People will have to watch the video on this. I'm outside of my car, wiping the snow off of my windshield. I'm a little out of breath here. I really am in the car today, which might be a mistake.
It's literally like a tale of two sides. You're fighting off the snow and I'm sweating because it's so hot.
This is awful. What am I going to do?
Anyway. We're going to talk about video games, Sean.
We'll talk about video games. Let's do that.
To get out of this.
Thank you, Ryan.
Of course, let's clean the garage a little bit before we get into things. Of course, if you like what we do, please consider subscribing to us right here on YouTube, youtube.com/the Xbox Drive. Also, if you like what we do, you can also leave us a little review on your podcast service of choice, like Apple Podcasts, or, just interacting with us on Twitter at the Xbox Drive. All that good stuff helps the show grow in all the best ways possible. But Sean, we got to get a move on because obviously we have a lot to talk about. We talked about this a little bit before we started. Let's jump right into the playlist. Let's grab our 8 tracks.
You start. You start. I got to take care of this snow situation here. Hang on. You tell the people what you played. I'm very excited. Is it more than Mass Effect? Did you play more than Mass Effect?
I did. I finished Resident Evil Village this week, Sean.
Okay, tell the people about Resident Evil, and I'll come back. I'll be back in a second. You go. You're good.
Bye, Sean. So, Resident Evil Village, of course, I talked about it on last week's show, how I'd been playing it a ton. I loved Resident Evil Village last week when I talked about it on the show. Now that I've finished the game, because it took me about 7.5 hours to finish it, I'm a little bit less excited about it as far as coming away from it. It doesn't really end very strong or anything like that. I especially did not really love the last area in the game. It was not all that great.
I'm back.
To the point where it really felt like I didn't even know what franchise I was playing because it felt very different from Resident Evil, which I don't think necessarily is a bad thing. But in this case, what it was presenting was not something I was excited about. So I'm not going to dive into it because, again, that would kind of dive into spoilers or kind of go into kind of reviewish territory.
Sure.
Again, I still really enjoyed my time with Resident Evil Village. I definitely think it was worth playing. But I do think that it just doesn't stick the landing in the way that I wish it would.
Oh, no.
Which is a bit disappointing. But that's okay. Again, I'm glad that I played it and definitely made some time for it.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I'm going to do these speed runs that people are doing because this is kind of a big thing online right now. Everyone's trying to go for like the 3-minute speed run, or not 3 minute, the 3-hour speed run.
Sure.
The game in 3 minutes. That's pretty fast. But I don't know when I'm going to do that. But the other reason I don't know when that's going to happen is because Mass Effect, Sean. Mass Effect is happening.
3 games.
It's invaded our worlds. Of course, Mass Effect Legendary Edition is here. Basically, it's a remaster of all 3 games in the trilogy for both Xbox One and Series X and S. Sean, we've been playing this game to death, both of us.
Yeah.
Because I know, I love just.
Do you see me online? I can't
Discord.
remember if I'm like hiding or anything right now, if I'm currently appearing offline or anything, but do you see me? Because I'm on all night, dude.
Yep. In fact, again, I love logging into Discord every morning, Sean, and seeing just like, it's another late night last night. Just like every day, it's been like that for you pretty much since Mass Effect comes out. I love it. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see you online. I've been looking at your achievements a bit because I've been kind of tracking things. I know that I'm actually playing it on PlayStation, which might actually surprise people. The reason I actually decided to do that was because it'll probably come to EA Play eventually. And I don't have a playable version of the trilogy on PlayStation. So I decided to buy it on PlayStation now, and then I'll play it on EA Play probably later when it comes to it down the road.
Okay, so if anybody's ever wanted to host or co-host the Xbox Drive, I think Ryan Turford's time is it's about done here. So if you want to just keep doing that PlayStation stuff, that's fine, Ryan Turford.
I can't play any games on PlayStation? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I'm kidding. Doesn't matter. Mass Effect is a beautiful experience, a beautiful game. I think it was Jess Corden said they just don't make games like this, and I completely agree, man. I am head over heels in love with Mass Effect, and to the point where like I recently played the first game on PC thinking, well, surely like, you know, the better power of my PC will give me a good experience over the 360 version. And it wasn't necessarily the case. It was a little janky when I played it a couple of months ago. And this thing is like, I don't know, man. I was about to say damn near perfect, but it's not. There's still glitches. Yeah. There's still weird bugs that are happening. There's still weird like dialogue stuff. And, you know, that sort of like weird kind of BioWare thing that kind of happened back in the day. But all that aside, like I just have so much adoration for Mass Effect, man. I went on and on about it on the Season Gaming Bitcast with Ains last week and Mr. Badbit. But dude, I just love Mass Effect. And I'm finding, by the way, that I thought I was just gonna, because there's 3 games, I thought I was just gonna mainline the story and just kind of experience the story. But I'm playing the crap out of this game, man. I'm gonna find every single one of those Turian emblems or the matriarch medals or whatever the hell I'm finding. I'm on every planet. I'm listening to podcasts while I go to every system and just loving space. I love going to our solar system, and you know they give Pluto a little bit of love over there. But I'm going on and on. How are you doing with the game, dude?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I actually, I tweeted this out last night, but I actually finished the game. I got the platinum trophy.
Sure
so I got
did.
all the achievements in one playthrough, which is awesome. So if you kind of know what to do, it's pretty easy to get. And not only that, Sean, but in order to get all the trophies, I had to complete 66% of all the side missions and explore all the planets.
Yeah.
But I went beyond that and finished everything.
Yeah, I would too.
I actually finished all the side quests. I did all the extra missions. I did the DLC. I mean, to be fair, the DLC is actually pretty short.
When do you know, like, is DLC after the ending, like after you technically roll credits? Like, I don't know if I've already played some DLC. Is it baked in?
So the DLC for Mass Effect 1 that they included is the Bring Down the Sky mission.
Oh, okay, I did that one.
The asteroid.
The asteroid?
So that's the only one that's included. Pinnacle Station was the other set of DLC for the game, which was basically like this survival mode, essentially, that didn't get included because, according to BioWare, they lost the source code for it.
Oh, God.
So
wow.
They didn't want to build it from scratch, so they just said, we're not including it.
Yeah.
So, not only that, but I was just so impressed playing Mass Effect 1 this time around because of just how much visually they did to kind of smooth over a lot of the visual problems with the original game. And they tightened up some of the combat a bit.
Big time.
Even the Mako
not
sections.
even a bit. The combat is way better. And also, can you speak to like the change in like the RPG system maybe more eloquently than I can? I know that there was a difference in terms of like the way that you would level up, or it's like the levels went from like instead of 1 to 30, they're going from 1 to 60.
So there's
like
actually an option to toggle it. So in the original game, you went from 1 to 60. Those were your levels in the original game.
Oh, okay.
But in the new mode, what they did for Mass Effect 2 and 3 was that both of those games level capped at 30. So they decided to make this one by default cap at 30, but you're essentially getting the same power loadout and stuff like that. Like in the original game, for example, when you'd get from level 50 to level 60, you would get 1 skill point per level.
Yes, I'm finding
instead
that.
Instead of 2.
Yep.
So instead of doing that, they're just like, well, why don't we just make those 10 levels like 5 levels and give you 2 skill points per level.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense that way.
This is why you're the host of the RPG Cave, Ryan.
Definitely. Well, to be fair, I've played the original Mass Effect like 10 times. Sean.
Have you really? How are you playing this time? I don't know if we talked about this yet. Are you Paragon? Are you Renegade? Because I'm FemShep punching people in the face all over the place, man. It is Renegade all over the place. Every species I find, I am wiping them off the face of the earth. I actually had a point in time where I accidentally saved a species because I was hitting X. I was just kind of like cutting through the dialogue as I read ahead, and I can do that faster than they're speaking to me. And I accidentally said, "Yeah, we'll save you." I reloaded a save from 25 minutes prior to make sure that I could exterminate this disgusting species from the galaxy. Ryan, that's where I'm at with Mass Effect.
Sean's just the interplanetary
I am
killer.
a monster.
He's just vast interplanetary
Get
genocide.
the job done, Shep. That's what I'm talking about.
My God. Yeah, actually, honestly, my preferred method is Renegade. I mean, I played the games, all 3 games multiple times with both Paragon and Renegade, but if I had to choose one, it's definitely Renegade path for me. This time
It's
around,
so much more
I kind of did it where I'm
interesting.
what I'm doing is kind of flip-flopping a bit. We're like from because I'm currently playing Mass Effect 2 right now, Sean.
Sure.
And I'm kind of flip-flopping now where Mass Effect 2, I'm being more nice to people. I'm doing more of the Paragon stuff.
Well, you're reborn.
Exactly.
It's a new lease on life.
A new person. She suddenly likes all the alien races instead of hates them now.
That's got to be very confusing for them all.
Maybe I won't push that guy out the window.
Dude, I kicked out that preaching Hanar in the Citadel. I kicked him the hell out of there, man. You got to follow the rules. You can't just like pick up a spot and start preaching out your things. There's permits that you need, Mr. Hanar. Oh my God. Dude, we could have a legitimate like 90-minute conversation about Mass Effect and all of the different species and their backgrounds, the way they talk. Like there is so much love, care, and attention to detail in all of this. It is all the cliche things that people talk about. It's a world that feels lived in, blah, blah, blah. But it really, this feels like a real place. Like I kind of get depressed a little bit when I realize that I can't go to the Citadel and see all these different peoples interacting, the way that the embassies all work and the jealousy from the races over here, like the species where it's like the Volus and the Elcor are kind of like they share an office and they're like, oh, these stupid humans, you guys are so lucky you get all this stuff, and the Turians are a little upset. The conflict between like the First Contact War, holy crap, there is so much to a Mass Effect. If people aren't playing it, Ryan, I don't understand it. I really don't, because all of this with me kind of going on and on about this stuff is me having experienced the game a couple of times before. It's now revitalized and revived. My love for it is coming back. But if it's your first time playing Mass Effect, I will say that like I think the pacing of the game is exceptional. The way that it presents you and introduces you to all that it has to offer is so masterful. And if you really want to go for it, if you want to learn more, if you're really digging it, then you can go for it. But if not, then I think the game is just it's kind of an exciting romp anyways, presenting you with some really heavy decisions to make. I kind of joke about like those the extermination of a species, but like those are really heavy moments unless you're a monster like me that just takes glee in just going, no, I will hit the button and throw an acid on this queen and you will be gone forever. But I cannot say enough great things about Mass Effect, man. I'm so glad they nailed this package. It could have gone wrong in so many ways, but you mentioned it. The visuals I think are great. They were like 120. I'm playing 120 frames, by the way, over on Series X, and it's so good, man.
I'm very jealous of that. I mean, to be fair, I don't have a TV that supports it. That's why I was like, it doesn't bother me too much that I'm not going to be able to play it that way. But I do really love this game as well. And it feels almost like a new game. Like it feels almost like a remake of the first game, which is what I think is the best thing I can say about it, because I know like some of the older mechanics and stuff like that in the original game were a big turnoff for people. Where I think that they really they made all the smart changes where they needed to, while also maintaining the spirit of the original release and not messing with it too much. Like it still feels like that original game. And I think that, BioWare, just like you said, like I think they deserve to be praised for this as well. So I'm just getting into 2 right now, and I'm starting to notice some little tweaks and stuff that they did in 2 as well. Again, they did a little bit less, I think, probably with it, at least in the opening hours that I'm kind of playing through right now for Mass Effect 2. But definitely most of the work went into the first game deservedly so, because I think it really needed it. And it's kind of made me question, which of those games is my favorite, because I've always kind of stuck with Mass Effect 2 being my favorite because it's the best balance of mechanics and story.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt about it. But now that Mass Effect 1 is kind of mechanically sound now, and it has a better story, I would say, than Mass Effect 2 does.
Ooh.
That I personally think that maybe I like it more. I mean, I'll take some time to reflect after I've finished the trilogy again, but it's definitely bumped it up in kind of my Mass Effect rankings going forward.
The fact that they're even close, Ryan, like, they just goes to show like how great this package is, that we're kind of going like back and forth, because I have said like Mass Effect is my favorite game. I'm sorry, Mass Effect 2 is my favorite game of all time, not even just of the series. And I'm playing the first one over again here and going, I don't know about that. So I'm even more looking forward to playing the second game, having so much fun here. As I'm parked in a really weird spot here because I'm talking and I don't want to interrupt with my order at the drive-thru. But dude, I don't even know where the other thing I wanted to say is, how are you playing on PlayStation over there? Because there's two modes to this. You can choose to favor quality, so like high resolutions, textures, and all that kind of stuff, or you can favor frame rate. I'm obviously favoring frame rate because I saw in the first couple of hours that favoring quality actually really kind of hit the frames pretty bad. And that was confirmed when I watched Digital Foundry did an awesome piece on this. People should definitely check it out. And they did say that was actually limited to the first couple of hours, where for whatever reason, like the Eden Prime mission renders a little bit odd. But my God, man, I'm all in on this game. People should definitely. The other thing I wanted to say too. I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted. The last thing I wanted to say is, EA or BioWare should have like hired Digital Foundry to go, these are the differences between the 360 version that you had before and what the Legendary Edition looks like now, because the side-by-sides that Digital Foundry does shows how much work went into this. I felt like the promotion before the game came out kind of went, it kind of looks the same. Like they didn't look
they
too much
very
different.
Similar.
It's vastly different. It's a huge upgrade, and I love every bit of it, man.
Yeah, and actually going back to your point, I'm actually playing quality mode on PlayStation because, funny enough, on that console, it runs 4K 60 in quality mode or 1080p at 60 in frame rate mode, because essentially that toggle is essentially for PlayStation 4. It doesn't matter with PlayStation 5.
There is no 120.
It's just bizarre that in that version of the game there's even a toggle for it. So, anyways, that's Mass Effect. I'm sure we're going to be talking about it over the next couple weeks. We got the next game. I'll be on to the next game by next week. There's no doubt, man. I'm right behind you. Yeah, exactly. I think we're pretty close, anyways. So let's slam the brakes on the Mass Effect conversation. It's time for some breaking news, so Sean can eventually get to the drive-through while I talk about Game Pass games, because we got a giant Game Pass drop. Lots of games coming to Game Pass. So I'm going to kind of read off this list while you get going here, Sean. So starting today, the day you're listening to this, the following games are available now. SnowRunner, Secret Neighbor on PC, The Catch, Carp and Course Fishing, and The Wild at Heart. So those are available right now. On May 21st, we're getting Knockout City. That's the dodgeball game from EA, the Open City dodgeball game.
Hi there. Can I please get 2 large Diet Cokes and a medium decaf with 2 Splenda? Yep, that is all. Thank you. Sorry, Ryan.
Next up, that's all good. Next up, we got Maneater on May 25th.
Ooh, you played that too, didn't you?
I did.
I'm going to play it.
It was okay. I was not in love with it.
It's a Game Pass game.
It's a Game Pass game. I think that this is the perfect home for that. I mean, it came to PlayStation Now last month.
Right.
So it's cool to actually finally see it on both platforms now.
Thank you.
We're also getting Conan Exiles on the 27th, and actually the rest of these games I'm going to read off are all on the 27th as well. We got MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries coming to console, and then Slime Rancher on PC, Solsta Crown of the Magister on PC, and then Spellforce 3 Soul Harvest on PC. So lots of games on the 27th, of course, just like you kind of alluded to right there, Sean, with your MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. Definitely probably the standout among those titles.
Give it to me now.
It's on a PC Game Pass already, so PC folks have already probably been enjoying this for a while. But finally,
I played it on PC. I played it on. Thank you so much. I played it on PC, but I want to play on my console, man. I really, really do. And I keep saying this to you. I think it was maybe in our 2021 predictions that we did. I want a joystick. I want Xbox to come out with a branded Elite version joystick so I can play games like Flight Simulator and MechWarrior with a Sidewinder Elite Pro. Give it to me now, Phil Spencer, please.
I just would rather them bring another Steel Battalion controller back, Sean. It needs 300 buttons.
That's too many buttons, Ryan.
That's how many buttons were on the Steel Battalion controller, though.
That's too many buttons, man. I didn't realize that. That's
it also had 3 joysticks on it, Sean.
Oh my, yeah, give it to me. Yeah, I'll create a mega desk for this thing. Like, we'll actually have to renovate like our playing spaces for this all to work. I love it. So yeah, what were the standouts for you? Like, I think Maneater definitely stands out to me. MechWarrior, I think people shouldn't sleep on because that's a storied franchise, and I really enjoy that one as well.
I also think there's a possibility that Knockout City might be a bit of a sleeper, where that game actually might be really fun.
I like your optimism on that. Yeah,
we'll see, because I'm not in love with the style that they're going with. It kind of reminds me of like, Bleeding Edge or Fortnite and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but I think the gameplay looks fun. So
we'll play together.
Yeah, we'll definitely try it out at some point. So
yeah.
I'm interested to try that one out. But yeah, otherwise it's not a knockout list or anything like that, but lots of games to choose from this list. There's something for everyone. Even if you want just a fishing game, Sean, there's a fishing game on this list. So there you go.
I might actually. I shouldn't turn my nose up at that. That sounds like I've been saying I like to play a game while listening to a podcast. So maybe I just need a little fishing in my life. Why would I go outside? I can fish in my basement.
Especially when it's like it is there, for sure.
Seriously.
Well, Sean, you wouldn't know it, but Summer Games Fest is officially back. It will kick off with an announcement event on June 10th at 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Yes, I'm doing Daylight Time specifically for Jace, so he doesn't correct me. Yep. And will continue throughout the summer. There will be major announcements and major participation from live service games on the kickoff day on the 10th, as well as other events throughout the summer. And funny enough, if you go to the schedule, it's got like the Ubisoft Connect that we know that is happening during E3 as part of E3,
hilarious,
listed as a Summer Games Fest event, which is just like, come on, man. You can't just take every game event over the summer.
Why
and
not?
just say, oh yeah, it's a Summer Games Fest event.
Good for Jeff Keighley.
Tying it all together. It's all because Jeff Keighley did this. So yeah, I'm interested to see what's going to be at this showcase.
Well, did Sony say they were going to be there? I think Sony was going to be there as well, right?
Sony said they're part of Summer Game Fest.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean, because they listed, I think, 30 publishers that are part of Summer Game Fest in total.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they're all announcing stuff during the beginning showcase. Because actually, I think the beginner showcase that Keighley was mentioning a little bit on Twitter is that a lot of it's going to be covered by the Weezer performance, Sean, because everyone loves Weezer apparently. But then also Day of the Devs, which is essentially like a bunch of indie announcements. So it sounds like we're going to get a lot of those. He also teased that we're going to get some announcements based off that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge game.
Oh my God, yes, that's right. That's coming up soon.
Yeah, I'm imagining we're going to hear the release date at this June 10th event. Which is
did they say summer before? Like, why is it in my brain that that's coming out soon?
They just said 2021. That's it.
Oh,
they didn't say.
Maybe I just guessed it. Well, I'm predicting like July 28th. I want it on my birthday, please.
Knowing what they did for Streets of Rage, because it's the same publisher, they announced it about the release date about 3 months before it came out. So if they're announcing the release date in June,
don't do that to me.
I'm going to say September.
No, don't do that to me. Yeah, you're probably right. That would be acceptable, but I want it soon. Very excited about that one.
This would be the perfect summer game, Sean.
Yeah, it really would.
Alas. So yeah, it sounds like we're going to be hearing about that. Otherwise, I don't imagine. I think we'll get 1 or 2 really large announcements at this event. Mm-hmm. We've already kind of have confirmation in a way through some tweets between Jeff and kind of replies he's been replying to people about this, that it doesn't sound like Elden Ring's going to be there. We already know Team Cherry is not going to announce any Hollow Knight Silksong stuff here either. So it won't be anything in those regards, but I could see Activision, if they have another game outside Call of Duty, for example, this year, they can announce that here.
They don't have anybody to make anything else other than Call of Duty. All their teams are working on Call of Duty.
You never know. That's the type of announcement, though, that I can see at this. Because when they did kind of this kickoff last year, that's when they announced Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 and Crash 4.
Yeah, neither of those games are ever happening ever again. So crappy,
Right.
man. Oh.
So I would imagine like we're going to get like 1 or 2 announcements like that at this showcase.
Yeah,
So-
I only brought up Sony because I kind of just still want to have, like, in my, you know, I'm an old man. I don't like change. I still want to have that weekend where we see, you know, Nintendo and Xbox and Sony do their thing on that second weekend of June. So I'm kind of hoping for maybe a little something. But yeah, the third party stuff is always interesting, of course. But yeah, I like seeing the three titans kind of going head to head to head.
I just really want to do Sony predictions, and they're not making
That
it
too.
easy. To
Yes,
just kind of
actually, that's
schedule
exactly
them.
what I meant to say. Yes, I want to do those predictions as well. Right now, we're slated to do Xbox predictions and Nintendo predictions and third party. As we'll do that as, by the way, a little housekeeping or cleaning the garage. Those will appear on the Weeby Gamercast feed, but for the platform specific shows, they'll appear there as well. So Xbox predictions will show up on this feed. Nintendo predictions will show up on the Nintendo Drive feed, which should be live very, very soon, and probably PlayStation Drive predictions. We haven't really talked about this, so but I think that makes sense, right?
We
Trevor?
don't really know. And to
I
be
think
fair,
that should be
we also don't even know if they're actually having anything.
That's
so,
true.
I mean, that's the one where we don't even need to know right away anyway. So
Fair enough.
There you go.
There
That's
you go.
Summer Game Fest. It's taking shape. It's almost upon us, even though it's snowing where Sean is. You would never know it's summer there.
It's melting
all right.
slowly. It's very heavy snow, Ryan. It was almost going to break my wipers.
For sure. All right. So speaking of announcements, Sean, the next couple of news stories are basically just announcements of release dates because we got a few of them this week. We're going to start with Grand Theft Auto 5's Xbox Series X and S version. It will launch on November 11th. On top of this, GTA Online is getting its own standalone client, which is similar to Red Dead Online's client that's actually in Game Pass right now. That can be purchased on its own at a reduced price. And Rockstar is also teasing something related to Grand Theft Auto 3 to celebrate its anniversary outside of just Grand Theft Auto Online. But apparently we're gonna hear some of that more over the summer, they said. So what do you think, Sean? I mean, first of all, it's funny because they released some statistics that since the beginning of the year, Grand Theft Auto 5 has sold 5 million copies.
What?
I don't know how people don't have this game already because it's sold 140 million copies so far.
Unstoppable. Unstoppable.
And now it's getting re-released.
People can't get enough of just, hiring hookers and kicking them out of their cars, I guess.
Yeah.
And also other things you can do in GTA, sure. I'm sure.
Like bank
But
robberies and stuff. Yeah.
Also that, yeah.
Man, I don't know if I really care about this news. I know that there's someone out there that's really excited about this, especially.
I know.
I think if someone's playing Grand Theft Auto Online, I think they're probably excited about this. But for me personally, this doesn't really do anything for me. But I thought it was interesting that they haven't really clarified whether or not this is a free upgrade. I imagine it's going to be.
Oh,
but,
I wouldn't.
Like,
I was going to say the opposite.
Blog post.
Do you think so?
About it.
I don't think it's going to be at all.
Yeah, that's true because they didn't do that for the PS4 version of the game, the PS4 Xbox One version.
Yeah,
so,
I think this is a paid thing. I think they'll sell it again for a third time. And the only thing that kind of intrigues me is just like what kind of improvements kind of come along with it. Like how much better is this going to be? Because we thought the improvements from the 360 to the Xbox One was like, oh my gosh, that's all I needed because it got it closer to what was happening over on PC at the time. So now it's going to go even further. I'm wondering, like, how much better is it going to look? Is it a frame rate thing, or like why you'd be incentivized to not just play the backwards compatibility version of the Xbox One?
Especially because it'll be cheaper. So it's just like I don't know either why you would go about doing this.
Or you already have it.
It'll be interesting to see. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see when they release kind of more information about this when it gets closer to launch. If there's more information about this, but so far it exists. It's coming. We'll see. And we'll move on because next up, the Ascent, Sean, has a release date. It will launch on Xbox Series X, S, and Xbox One on July 29th and will be day and date with Game Pass. We already kind of knew it was day and date with Game Pass. They announced that a long time ago, but awesome to see that it's finally coming. I know this was delayed out of the launch period because it was actually supposed to come out last year, but it's awesome to see a release date for it. And I'm excited for it. The gameplay looks great. In fact, I've kind of put myself on media blackout for it at this point because a whole bunch of previews went up for it.
That's right.
I think yesterday.
Yeah.
But I'm just like staying away from them at this point because I kind of am excited to just jump into it on Game Pass when it comes out. What do you think about this, Sean?
Yeah, I'm the same as you. I just kind of saw people were positive in their previews, and that's kind of all I looked into it. Perfect timing. I think that's going to be a nice wide open space for a lot of people to jump into that game. I do wish that it was a little bit sooner, but at the same time, I'm playing Mass Effect right now, so what do I care? But these are the filler type of experiences that we need in between the gigantic things like Outriders or MLB The Show, or now we got Mass Effect. Like later on, I think we'll have Ascent. Like in my mind, this doesn't occupy that gigantic space, but it's more of like a. Isn't it? Aren't I so glad I have Game Pass? Aren't I so glad I've got an Xbox I can play a game like this? And maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised that it's really, really good. But and I don't expect it to be any less than. I think it's kind of like a AA kind of experience, like not an indie. Not talking about the quality of the experience, just smaller, I guess.
Well, it's also not a full price game either. I think it's like $40 Canadian.
Yeah, so I'm not speaking ill about it or anything. It's just I just want like kind of a video game. That's what it kind of cries out to me, at least. It
could be the best cyberpunk infused game that comes out this year, Sean.
Wasn't there like another cyberpunk game that came to Game Pass or something like that, or is coming Cyberpunk ARPG or something like that? Was that a thing?
Something like that.
Yeah.
That's a thing too. So, and then Cyberpunk 2077 is going to come out again this year, Sean, too. So you can't discount that one.
You just wait.
All right.
You just wait.
All right, last news story before we jump into questions real quick. Saints Row the Third Remastered is also getting a Xbox Series X and S version with a bunch of new visual upgrades and other goodies, and it will launch on May 22nd. This one is a free upgrade, so if you're like me and you already have the remastered version, you get this for free as well. So I'm excited to install that.
What are the chances that news comes out at the same time as the Grand Theft Auto news? Like those games are the same, right? Like, or at least one wants to be the other.
The same day, too.
Yeah,
the
that's
same
hilarious.
day this came out. Yeah, it's very silly. I think they did it on purpose a little bit. But,
good for them. Good for Saints Row.
Yeah. And to be honest, the remastered version of Saints Row the Third, I should really like the remaster for that. Like they did an amazing job. I don't know if it's as good as the Mass Effect remaster, but they actually cleaned up a ton of stuff from the original version. It plays great. So
very cool.
If you haven't jumped on it already, I think this will be a good pickup. All right. Let's let some of our friends into the car with us, John. It's time for the carpool because we're running low on time today. Let's start with Braves B at Braves B. He asks, what is your any button choice when a title screen says, press any button to continue or start? Do you test the limits to see if it is truly any button? Sean, do you have a preferred any button?
I'm giggling over here because I can't believe that this question came up. Normally, I think my normal any button is A. I like probably like all the normal people out there. But I did I think it was for Mass Effect very recently, press down on the D-pad for some reason just to see it. I'm like, it did work. It was any key. Button. It said any button. Yeah, where's the any button? But yeah, normally it's A. But I was feeling a little devious the other night, or maybe deviant.
You wanted to go off the beaten path, Sean.
I just wanted to see.
For me, again, my press any button, usually the A button as well. I'm kind of in the same camp as you, Sean. But I mean, I've gone outside the realm of possibility, Sean, and tried every button before. And sure enough, true to form, it usually always works.
What about bumpers? Even the bumpers?
Yeah, so actually, for a funny story about that, for a month straight to try and test this, I was like, every single game I play this month, I'm going to use the right bumper to act as the any button.
You would.
And it worked every time. It worked every time in every game
surprised.
I tried. Yeah.
Good on you.
That's the type of thing Ryan Turford does when he's bored, okay?
Just in case a question like this were to pop up.
Oh no! It's almost like it's a game in itself, Sean, to see if this button will actually work, or if it's actually restricted based on what like the front-facing buttons or something like that. Because there's like, what kind of jerk is going to press the right bumper to go through this?
Well, Ryan Turford.
So we won't even program it in there. Yeah,
Canadian jerk.
All right. Last question, from JoeySplats. He asks, "What are your guys' thoughts about Biomutant? Seems like this is a most unique game that's popped out of nowhere. Are you guys getting it?" So we talked about Biomutant a few times on the show, especially because I think the last time we talked about it was when it got the release date, and I think it's coming out next week, which is interesting. I'm actually really interested in Biomutant because, again, I've talked about it before on the show. It looks cool. It looks pretty different from just about any game out there. And for the most part, if you haven't seen what Biomutant is, this is coming to us from THQ Nordic and Deep Silver. And you basically play as like a humanoid animal of your choice, whether it be like a squirrel or a skunk or some kind of like weird animalized person. It was like Rocket Raccoon. You could make your own Rocket Raccoon in this game, essentially.
What was that game? What was that turn-based game? What was that turn-based game set in like a post-apocalyptic, and there was a bunch of like kind of similar idea. Garrett Bland loves this game.
Zero?
Mutineer, yes, thank you so much. Mutineer Zero kind of reminds me of that a little bit in the look, but probably not gameplay as much.
Kind of like that. Like it's like a third-person action game, mostly focusing on melee combat, and it's kind of got this like open world aesthetic, and it's kind of like this post-apocalyptic game, almost like New Zero was as well. So it's a game I'm really interested in. I'm interested to see what reviews are on this, but it's out at a time that it's very busy for games. So I'm actually probably not picking it up at launch, Joey, I'm sorry to say. Mainly because, again, we're playing Mass Effect now, and then like in a week and a half or 2 weeks, I would say, like Ratchet and Clank and Scarlet Nexus are going to be here.
Scarlet Nexus, yes. Yeah, you're going to be especially busy, especially with those two games.
Yeah, so with that in mind, it's probably not a good idea that I pick this up right away. So this is the type of game I want to play at some point.
Yeah.
But it's not like a day one purchase for me, I think. What do you think? Are you at all interested in Biomutant, Sean?
No, I think you and I have talked about this on the show a couple of times, and that like it's kind of a generic name. There's not really been too much about it that's really captured my attention up until this point. I did talk to somebody last night, actually, who said that they were playing it, and they gave me their impressions, which I thought was interesting, maybe captured my attention a little bit. But I don't know. Maybe we'll work with THQ on this one. Maybe if we get a code, we can maybe provide some coverage on it. But it's not something that, at least in the previews or even in the title itself or anything so far, that's been like, that's a Sean Capri game, especially when we're in Mass Effect time right now, it's a little tough, but we'll see. Yeah,
exactly. Or not only that, but I mean, some people are still playing Resident Evil. We just got the DLC expansion for Assassin's Creed. Nier Automata is still pretty new. Yeah. So there's lots to play right now, and that's kind of my argument against that. So there you go.
I'm actually going to be playing a sidebar. I'm actually going to be am playing Days Gone on PC, and I'm not sure where I should cover that, to be honest with you. Like I'll maybe guest on the PlayStation Drive, or I mean it's a PC game, right? I'm playing it with an Xbox controller on my PC, and it starts up with the Sony Studios thing. So who knows, man? We got lots going on right now.
It could be anything, Sean.
Could be anything. Maybe I'll play it on stream.
Maybe. All right, Sean, we got to go. But before we go, Sean.
Oh, that's the end? That was it? Oh, man. Well, I had a man, I feel really good about this. I just want to go back and play Mass Effect. But if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, you can at Sean Capri, Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. You can follow me on Twitch, and I would appreciate it if you did, at twitch.tv/Sean Capri. And if you like the show or all the things we do, we're pretty much releasing, by the way, Ryan, we're releasing content at our Patreon every single day, damn near every day, at patreon.com/Yumi Capri. So much content. So if you support what Ryan and I are all about and what we do, we would really appreciate it if you dropped $1 or $2 or $10 over at patreon.com/Yumi Capri.
For sure, my friend. As for me, you can find me on Twitter at Ryan Turford. You can also find us on Twitter at The Xbox Drive, as well as on YouTube at youtube.com/The Xbox Drive. Real quick, obviously, two plugs. I have 2 new shows releasing this week.
Yes.
The RPG Cave is going to be on free feeds on Saturday, but if you want early access to it, it's on Patreon starting today on Thursday. And then tomorrow, from the day you're listening to this, the PlayStation Drive is starting as a pilot on Patreon as well, if you want to go check out that show there as well. So definitely check out all that stuff if you're interested. So for Sean Capri, I'm Ryan Turford. This has been episode 190 of the Xbox Drive, and we out. Bye.
I am dead serious. If you listen to this episode, please leave a comment in the YouTube video or on the Twitter comment where we say that the episode is now live. We want to know what you guys have to say about Mass Effect, because goodness gracious, I love Mass Effect. Bye.